In my pinned video, if you go to my page, my pinned video, I have a treatise on the importance of moving from the Platonic to the Hegelian dialectic. And so if you want to think about it, we're going from closed system of belief to open, closed to open. And when you exist in an open system of belief in expanded consciousness, you're going to come across a lot of people who still haven't faced a lot of their shadow selves. And I'm going to do a whole series on shadow work and how you can approach shadow work in a Hegelian sense. But for this, this came up today, so I wanted to talk about this. So this clairaudient ability is the ability to hear voices. And a lot of people can hear different types of things. Some people can hear the voices of animals, plants, of land spirits, of weather. They can actually hear the elements in the weather. They can hear people. They can hear ancestors. They can hear alien consciousnesses. They can hear gods. They can hear social constructs. Clairaudient, there's so many ways in which you can develop your clairaudient ability. Inside, I like to think of inside of our hypothalamus as a little receiver, and we can tweak it in order to receive information and energies, and also messages from beyond. And a lot of people who are clairaudient also are clairvisual, like they have visions as well. Sometimes it kicks on at the same time. I think because hearing and vision is very similar in the brain, but not always. Some people are just only clairaudient and they don't have any visuals, so that's fine. There's a bunch of different types of clair abilities, and I'll be talking about them as well. But in this one, I want to talk about like how the Platonic dialectic battle of the previous closed system appears in our spiritual community, specifically with seers. Okay. I was a seer and a tarot card and a rune reader for about 25 to 30 years. I started doing card readings back in the 90s. And I was a professional for a while. And so I went the whole gamut. I've done toxic, I've done beneficial, I've taken breaks, I've not done readings. Like I give myself a reading at least like 2 or 3 times a day, just because now this is a part of me, my practice. But the thing is, if you're a reader, and I want to talk specifically to readers here, okay? If you are a seer and you are reading people and you are listening to the voices and the spirits that they are talking to, you have to be very careful of, number one, your vagus nervous system. If you had a particularly stressful day, your dial is tuned to really low frequencies. So you're going to hear the darkest spirits, the most horrific and darkest aspects of a person. If you take the time to do your breath work and maybe do yoga, meditation to get your energy up before you see or work with your clients, your dial's going to tune up. You're going to tune into the upper realms. The realms that you access through your clairaudient abilities is directly dependent upon your nervous system. And this was something I had to learn very early on. I have a long history of trauma and CPTSD. And so occasionally I would get PTSD attacks, and it would throw off my nervous system for about a week. And this happened ever since I moved away from my family in the 90s. And sometimes it would be a trigger, sometimes it would be a cascading event that my life was just too stressful and my nervous system couldn't handle it. And I noticed that when I was right before I was descending into a PTSD attack, and right when I was coming out, for about a week, sandwiching the whole thing, I would only be able to attune to the darkest of realms and hear the darkest of spirits. And unfortunately, I disturbed some people by giving them readings when I was in that state. And I look back on it and I realize like I had to own up to the fact that I gave darkness into the world because I didn't know what was happening to me. So if you are a seer and you're giving readings for the public, you need to be very, very careful at what state your nervous system is in. But I noticed that when I was in an upswing, and so when my nervous system was healed, when my parasympathetic nervous system had kicked in and I did my yoga and I was peaceful and I was in happy relationships and my diet was good, I noticed that I was able to see a higher picture and I would hear higher voices and higher guides, and I was able to give much better advice as a seer. And so I began to realize that being a seer is a lot like being an athlete, that my physical body and the state that I was in, psychologically and physically, affected my clairaudient abilities. And if I was not taking care of myself, if I was not taking care of my body or my mental health or my emotional health, and if I was highly distraught or in a chaotic situation, my clairaudient abilities would only pick up on the darkest aspects of things. And thus, I would share information with people that would actually entrap them instead of liberate them. A lot of the darkness of our past, including our ancestors, exist in the Platonic framework of the underworld. They still exist in that master-slave, misogynist, colonialist, closed system dynamic of where it's might makes right. You listen to me, I spread shame and paranoia, and I scare you so you do what I say. If any of that resonates in the voices you hear, you know that you are only connecting with the past and you're connecting with the lowest life forms out there. So, if you are a seer, it is your responsibility, because if you don't change, you are going to pull that Platonic dark agenda of enslaving human minds. You're going to do it with your clients. You're going to shame them. You're going to make them feel as if they don't need to do magic. I've seen this so often in teachers and students. I've seen teachers who don't take care of themselves, push themselves too hard. Their nervous system is fried and they are constantly paranoid. They scare the crap out of their students, and their students do not progress. And then I have seen seers who, they'll get people who come to them to get a reading, and they'll instill fear and doubt into their patients instead of hope and openness and vitality. People, you have to be careful. You can actually destroy other people's nervous systems. You can drive people away from their spiritual purpose, and you can also really spiritually harm others, mentally, physically, and spiritually harm them if you are not careful. So number one, never share shame. Never yuck somebody else's yum. If it's right, if it's working for them, then it's working for them. Focus on the message, not on your judgment of the spirit they're talking to. So if somebody says that they talk to the ancient, Tiamat, you're like, oh my God, Tiamat's evil. No, don't say that. Just say, what does Tiamat say to you? So focus on the message, and also keep your body and your mind and your emotions in tip-top shape so you can be of service to the world. So I hope this helps. If you are clairaudient, put it in the comments if you had any issues. I love to answer it because I love